West Wild.
Yeah, that's a Lingcod baby right there.
You're just gonna fillet this sucker right off the bone.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fish Out Northwest, waiting on Tommy Donlin.
This is what you call a bait stop.
And after work, a cold beer in my hand. Picking wild berries off God's land. And drinking my buddy's homemade wine. Living Northwest wild. Hunting, fishing is my kind of style. I float the Wainuchi when it gets hot. I'm proud I own the things that I've got.
Well, hello and welcome to Fish Out Northwest, Wayne, England, and yes, none other than the general himself, sitting to my immediate right, Bill Herzog.
Good evening.
How are you?
Oh, any better. I couldn't stand it. My grandpa said that all the time.
All right. Nice of you just to roll in and make it over here just in time for the show.
Well, I was doing things with you, actually. I had, my motive was was alternative.
Yeah, I kind of baited you on over here and said, hey, let's go do this for a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, here you are, and kept you around long enough to join in tonight. I actually told everybody last week, Tommy's going to be gone and taking a little vacation. And yep, sure enough, here you are from the east side to join me here on the show this evening. And we're going to get to all the stuff he and I had been out doing the last couple of days. Pretty good couple days on the water, man, with the weather, the opportunity, the company. It's just it's all good stuff.
I can't believe this is May. We had the most spectacular weather I've ever seen this time of year.
We're going to get into that too, because the opportunity with this weather has just been phenomenal. Hopefully you all are out enjoying it, taking opportunity as well. And again, before we get too far along here, Bill, I want to remind everybody, hey, Edge Rods, if you have not paid attention, you need to go to our webpage, www.fishhuntnw.com. There you will find a coupon code to use at checkout for all Edge rods all the time. Any Edge rod that is not under a previous special or a coupon reduced price, you can enter the coupon code FHN20 at checkout. You're going to save 20% off all rods all the time. And then, of course, Phelps Game Calls Fish Hunt NW10. You're going to save 10% off all Phelps Game Calls for the entire year at phelpsgamecalls.com. So check those sites out if you're going to gear up, because you're going to save some money through Fish Hunt Northwest. Well, speaking of which, Bill, we absolutely enjoyed an amazing day yesterday out in Area 13. A lot of folks think Area 13 is dead, but I'm here to tell you, man, I'm seeing somewhat of a resurgence in Area 13.
It's definitely the Walking Dead down there now. Everything's moving, and not at a slow pace either. I was amazed how good the fishing was. You had mentioned the success that you had last week?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, you know, semantics, but But nevertheless, we went out there. I had the best fishing I've ever had in Area 13.
If I told you, hey, I've been out there on the water 2 times, we've hooked upwards of 17 Chinook, you'd be like, oh, come on, there's no way, right? We're talking Puget Sound. I'm telling you, man, it is some of the very best Chinook fishing that I've, tackled onto in quite some time. And, I really like the fact that if we're back to jigging, man. We're just finding fish, staying on top of those fish. The fish are there, and again, we had the conversation yesterday. We were marking fish. And, and later on, we're going to show some of these screenshots I took with my Ray Marine. But you're marking fish, you're going over fish, you're marking bait. It's like, well, they're just not biting, right? We're beating them on the head with these jigs, and we can't get them to go.
You can see on the screen our jigs moving up and down in between the fish.
So, again, the old adage, you don't leave fish to go find fish, right? So we just stayed. It's like they have to. My buddy Justin was adamant in just, he lives by the rule. They're going to have to feed at some point.
Right.
They're going to start biting at some point.
Well, we talked to him on the phone, right?
We did.
And he said, hang on, you guys. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. I'm like, I know sometimes you run out of patience, right? But everybody else left. We had 6 other boats out there in the morning. Most people trolling, a couple guys jigging. Folks moved on. 2 hours into the tide, we started getting some current movement, started pushing some bait around, and lo and behold, they went on the snap, and oh man.
We were literally 2 minutes from going like, okay, we have to get back in, we have things to do, we're tired, et cetera, et cetera.
Nope, it was phenomenal. We're going to get into that a little bit more. We're going to get into a number of things relative to jig fishing here in Puget Sound, so let's get right to it. Let's run down the show. We got a lot going on tonight to get to. Hey, we're going to remind you all, 3rd annual FHN, Fish Out Northwest Kids Trout Derby. Going to show you what you missed if you didn't make it out via a little video we put together. I think you're going to enjoy. Then events coming up, some things that we got to remind you guys that are coming up that you need to plan to be there for, and good reasons why. Going to show you all of that. Today was a shrimping day. Did you get out? How did you do? How did we do? We're going to let you know right before the first half of the show is over. Then, of course, I got the general with me this evening. Summer Run Steelhead opens when, Bill?
Anybody else get chills just now? In one day.
May 27th.
That's right.
So Herzog's go-to rigs for success when we're talking summer run, something you are definitely going to want to tune into. I got a bait lab lined up tonight. We're going to go a little deeper here on the jigging for Puget Sound Chinook, some tips for success and what's been working for us out there in Area 13. Also applicable in other areas of Puget Sound, no doubt. We're going to close out the show with a few openings and closings that are on the radar. All right, going to jump out for a quick break. We come back, going to show you a short little video here about the Kids Trout Derby. Going to get into that. We come back from this break right here, Fish on Northwest.
Defiance Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Defiance Marine guarantees the best price on a new and best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine is a boat dealer who proudly sells Defiance, Allied, and Arima boats. All boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Defiance Marine has all your boating needs to help you get out on the water.
If you're looking for the best fishing rods in the world, you really do need to take a look at the Edge rods. I designed and built new machinery, and I think this new machinery has enabled us to build blanks like no other company can build without this equipment. There is no other rods in the world that are as good as these rods. You owe it to yourself to take a good look at them.
For more than 90 years, you've entrusted one brand to guide you toward living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Now you can entrust affiliated Better Homes and Gardens real estate professionals to interpret your needs and help you find the home in which to live your dreams through every stage of your home buying or selling process. And through every stage of your life, there's Better Homes and Gardens real estate. Expect better.
All right, welcome back here in studio, Dwayne England, and yes, Bill Herzog, co-host duties this evening.
I'm doing my best.
I think you have a little history in that regard, so
do.
I feel like I'm in good hands here. Hey, Bill, last week we had our third annual Fish on Northwest Summit Lake Community Kids Trout Derby.
How fun.
It was fantastic. I mean, this is the biggest and best event we've had to date, and it's only going to get bigger next year. We already got some great ideas and plans that we're going to be doing for the kids and everything. But I think Shing and I figured it out. We all told had about 175 kids.
How cool.
175 kids. So trying to capture the day, and I didn't have anybody there to film, but I was walking around talking to folks and whatnot. Put a little video together here just to let you guys see what it was all about. So take a look at this.
What do you know?
I know this is good. Dwayne, we're having a good time, good food. Here with my buddy Ray, Steve, Liz, Joe.
Everybody, look
We're
at
out
Joe.
here killing
Joe's
it, having a
rocking
good
back
time.
there.
We're prepared for the kids whenever they decide to arrive.
Things are happening now. Is that the hood? There you go. Let him fight it. Let him fight it. Let him fight it.
He's got it.
Awesome. Look at that. Got a boy.
Look at that.
Let's see a smile.
Look up.
You guys got fish?
Yeah, I got
You got fish? You got a perch?
Yeah.
Nice perch.
I got two,
2 trout.
Yep.
Nice. What do we got? Perfect. You guys are killing it. What do we got? Trout. Trout. Excellent. You guys out in the boat?
No, we were just on the dock.
On the dock.
Yeah, and then, yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, there you having fun?
Yeah.
Okay. You know you're going to be on TV, right?
What? Wait.
Huh?
What?
Say hi.
Hi.
There you go.
This fish is still alive.
Oh, you might want to dispatch that. Yeah. Okay. How we doing? How's everybody doing?
Good.
You guys got fish?
We got 18.
3.5 limits.
You got 18?
Yeah.
Holy cow, you guys killed it.
Right off the dock.
Nice work, right off the dock. Excellent. Good job. Good job. All right, everybody's smiling, loving it. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. You guys gonna get some of that pork?
Oh, it smells
You smell that, huh? This food is amazing. Hey, where'd you get those shirts? Oh, from that lady over there? That nice lady?
Yeah, very nice lady.
Very nice lady. There you go. There you go.
Thanks, Wayne.
Absolutely.
Fish on Northwest, right?
Yeah, thanks for showing up. This has turned out to be quite a party. Right on. First of all, I want to thank you all for making it out to this year's event. This is our 3rd annual Fish Hunt Northwest Summit Lake Community Trout Derby for the kids. And it's by far the biggest, so thank you so much. Huge thank you to my wife. All this stuff you see here, all these bags, baskets, buckets, that's all her. All right, thank you. Zach Eister.
Yeah.
Mr. Big Trout. Heck yeah, buddy. So,
Okay, wait.
Good job, dude.
first place Big Trout, Blake. We need a first place medal.
Oh, you get a medal, dude. Pretty awesome.
You get a fishing rod. Dad, here you go. Wait a second. Which tackle box do you want? Zach? Second place, Folsom. Where you at, Folsom?
There he is.
Perfect. All right.
You're good. I'm going to have to be all over. So it's
Yep.
just
And
trying to
which
stay out
tackle
of
box do
people's
you want?
way.
The Eister family is going to clean house this year. I can see that. Caitlin Eister. There you go.
Yeah.
You get a 3rd place medal, and you get to grab a bucket over here, okay? Grab one of those buckets. All right, biggest kokanee.
Oh, Harper.
I think I know this one. Harper, England.
Harper.
First place, biggest kokanee. I didn't tell Grandma because I didn't want her to start crying.
Here, take a picture.
Trout pond, first place, Thomas Donlin Jr.
Ooh. Yay.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, my goodness.
For those of you not familiar with our show, Tommy Donlin Sr. or Tommy Donlin is my co-host on Fish Hunt Northwest. So the fact that Junior pulls the biggest fish out of the trout pond is no surprise.
You want red or blue?
Good job, buddy.
There you go, Thomas.
Yeah.
All right.
A pole. Yes.
Oh, my
Yep.
goodness.
First place.
Good job, dude. Look at you.
job,
He'd win.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Wear glasses, you'll lose an eye. Most weight 5 fish limit. Lane McCann, 3 pounds.
Oh, no way. Man.
Yep. There we go.
Oh my God.
Look at that. Fishing rod.
Oh yeah, here, buddy. Come here. Come
You
get your
did
medal.
it, buddy.
First place
Your medal.
medal.
You got
Look
first
at that.
place, dude.
Attaboy.
And you get a fishing pole.
Get a fishing pole.
Oh my God.
Pick out a tackle box for Dad. They're all the same.
Get a rod, dude.
Huh?
That's yours.
His-
You want red or
His
blue?
mom went to high school with Jordan, right? Yeah.
do you want?
Blue? Okay.
That's
There
blue.
you go. That's full of all kinds of stuff.
Good stuff in there.
Oh
Good
my
job, buddy.
God.
Good job.
Good job, buddy. Oh my goodness.
This is why we do this right here, right?
That's awesome.
Yep. Hook for life.
you go, Bill, a little recap.
Wow, that was really neat, man.
Yeah, 175 kids. We figure about 300 people there total. Mission Outdoors killed it with the food, all free food. I mean, we had over 1,000 drinks on hand. Just a really, really fun day. Again, you know, credit to Sherry, all the work she put in, putting all those bags and buckets and all the giveaways and stuff together. Every kid, as far as we know, every kid went away with some type of prize or another, plus a free T-shirt, raffle. I mean, it's just phenomenal day. Got to thank all our sponsors once again. Don't have time to list them all here, but they rolled on the screen. We just want people to enjoy this day, be involved, create memories, get kids into fishing for good reason.
That's right. Get kids into fishing. You never know what inspires a kid to get into it, right? If you just got one in all that group on the right path, good for you.
Good for you. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We enjoyed bringing it to you. Okay, we're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back. A couple events coming up we're going to remind you about, and a couple points of interest Bill and I need to discuss. Don't go anywhere. Come back after this commercial break right here, Fish on Northwest.
Allied, the new leader in heavy gauge aluminum boats. Allied boats have standard reverse chine and lifting rakes to help you plane faster and run at lower RPMs. Allied boats have several models to choose from, ranging from a 19-foot Mustang all the way up to a 32-foot Liberator. So regardless of what type of heavy gauge aluminum boats you are looking for, Allied Boats will have it for you. Contact Allied Boats today to learn more about these incredible fishing machines.
Sportco, an outdoor emporium, is the largest local outfitter in the Northwest since 1975, providing thousands of people affordable outdoor gear. This summer, make your next outdoor adventure more affordable by shopping at our warehouse-style pricing. We are a local Scotty dealer, offering sales, service, and repair. Located in Fife and Seattle, come visit us today. The outdoors await you.
Welcome back here at Fish on Northwest. Bill, we got a couple events coming up here I want to remind folks of.
Okay.
We had discussed earlier in the year and had guests in promoting the Mission Outdoors Lingcod Derby for veterans and whatnot out there at La Push. It was postponed due to weather. Well, the date was reestablished and it is set to go. Weather looks fantastic. The details, $350 to enter, 4 free t-shirts per team, free dinner. Dinner and awards ceremony be held at the Catella Center Roundhouse in Forks. Doors open at 5. We have dinner at 6:30. Awards ceremony 7:30. Event closes at 10. It's just a fantastic event. Go to www.missionoutdoors.org and find out all the details. They still have room for other teams to sign up. It's going to be a great event. We will be there. We have our new Lingcod and halibut swag that we'll be dispersing and selling. It's really catchy looking gear, and it's going to be a really great time. Weather's going to be phenomenal. This is going to be a fun event, so we're looking forward to that. In addition to that, hey, coming up, and you and I were talking about this on the road home today, Larry Stamp is getting ready for the 2nd annual Fishing Expo. Will be here soon. The Fish Expo 2023 will be held Saturday, June 17th and Sunday the 18th. It's a 2-day event this year, Bill. You and I were there last year, had a great time. Same place? Yeah, same place, Thurston County Fairgrounds. They got burgers and pizza, barbecue. They got beer garden, free trout pond for the kids. Admission is only $7, $5 for military, and kids under 12 are free. We have 40 vendors lined up and counting, including us. Fish on Northwest will be there. Large presence. We got a huge booth selling tons of gear. Come and see us to purchase gear. Come and see all the vendors there. You can get the Grim Reefer jigs there. which you and I purchased last year. And look
Yeah,
how
I
much
know. Wow.
that has paid off going into this year.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I saw those and was like, I got to use those in Puget Sound next spring into summer. So lots of great vendors there, lots to take advantage of right locally here, Thurston County at the fairgrounds. Check it out at Rods and Reels in Need, and we'll continue to get more information out. I got a guest coming in next week to promote this. This is a great event, and if you are a small business or a vendor and want to attend, get a hold of Larry Stamp via Facebook on Rods and Reels in Need, and you're going to be able to sign up and get your booth or get your business there. Things to look forward to. So, additional things coming up, Bill.
Yeah.
Summer Run Steelhead season is on the horizon. One of
Yes,
our favorites, really.
It is my favorite. I mean, given the choice, if I can only fish one fishery all year, I'm going after summer runs, man.
We are. We're going to delve deep into that. Your go-to methods and approach, some of your rigs, and we're going to put them in sequential order. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever we come up with here, and let the folks know why you choose those particular rigs and why you approach steelheading the way you do, especially summertime, and some of the things you and I have done over the years together to find success and the fun we've enjoyed in that. So that is coming up Saturday, May 27th. Doesn't open on June 1st anymore. No. It is the last Saturday, or the Saturday before Memorial Day weekend is where they pushed it back.
Like they used to.
Families can get out and enjoy the weekend and go do some summer on steelhead fishing, right?
Yeah.
Additionally, June 1st, now there's an opener, Area 11.
Oh, baby.
Opens for Chinook. Hey, I saw a photo sent to me today of this is a migrating fish, definitely not a local blackmouth.
That looked like something you catch in July, by the way.
Yeah, very black face. I mean, it was a definite nice sized fish. Area 13, 23-pound hatchery Chinook taken today.
Oy.
I just want to see those continue to come on in because
I'm
13
dancing in a minute here.
13's open, 11 opens June 1st. It's going to be crowded in 11. So, but a lot of folks are looking forward to that opening, and for good reason. June 1st is the opener. Area 11 for Chinook. You can keep one Chinook. It says limit 2, but one hatchery Chinook is what you can have. So. Okay, that is some definite options to look forward to. We'll be getting more into that with techniques and methods and information to help you guys along to find success. All right, we're going to jump out for a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We come back. More discussion with Bill Herzog. Did you shrimp today? We did. We'll let you know how we did right after the break. Right here, Fish on Northwest.
Support from Northwest Sportsmen make Federal Ammunition the world's leading ammunition manufacturer. Federal uses the industry's finest materials, giving you reliable ammunition that delivers superb accuracy and optimum performance. Northwest hunters rely on Sportco to provide the best selection and prices in the Northwest since 1985. Sportco and Outdoor Emporium in Fife and Seattle. Your journey begins here.
McCombie's custom lures are made in the Northwest for salmon, steelhead, lake trout, and kokanee. Our products come in a variety of sizes and colors to help you catch more fish. Find our products in stores or at McCombie'sCustomLures.com.
Yep, for sure. Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, geez, come on.
Nice fish. Nice fish.
We're going to show you how to make fishing reels.
Welcome back here in studio, Dwayne England, Bill Herzog. So, Bill, we actually went out and drowned a few shrimp pots today.
We did. We went out and rinsed them off well.
We rinsed them very well and very deep. How'd we do?
I am full of shame.
Yeah. It was the drive home of shame. So we struggled a bit. We got out. Look, Matt and I have shrimped together the last couple of years. Sure. He said, hey, come on up. Let's jump on the boat. We had Amanda with us, and Shing couldn't make it, but we got out. Good intentions, had the gear ready to go, great bait all mixed up. dropped in where we normally do, and did our hour soak and started looking around, and people were pulling pots, and boy, they're coming up empty.
Empty one shrimp.
We're like, what in the world? So Matt starts getting a little nervous, so we start pulling our pots, right? And a couple shrimp here, a couple shrimp there, not going well. You get the phone tree going, hey, what's going on? Everybody in that area, we're off of Bainbridge over there. Tons of boats. Would you agree?
We picked the one spot that was an absolute biological desert.
I think so. So we moved, we dropped again. Few of our friends that put in far north of us dropped in on that slack tide, not a lot of current moving, pretty conducive to catching shrimp. They got into some early, and it was spotty. And I don't mean just the shrimp. I mean, you're right, just the ability or the availability. And got up, pulled our second round of pots after a good soak, and a couple shrimp here, a couple there, lots of pots coming up, people coming by, dropping F-bombs. They were not happy with the lack of shrimp. And we're talking tons of boats out there. Right. We talked to a few folks, a friend of ours, Paul Kim, he did okay, he got his couple limits, but again, he set way north of us. Yep, and once that tide started moving, once that water started moving, people were really struggling then. So it took us by surprise for sure.
Well, you got to hunt the plan. You make a plan like that. You don't have anything to go by except what happened last year.
And you got a 4-hour window.
Right, and so that's what we did today. We went to a spot where you guys absolutely slaughtered them last year and the year before and the year before that.
Yeah.
I show up and kill everything. You're welcome.
Shut down the shrimp bite.
Yes, I did.
So other folks did good. It sounds like Hood Canal is going to be doing just fine. A few other folks in a few other areas did okay. Checked in with a few folks over out there outside of Bainbridge or out of Edmonds and whatnot. They weren't doing real great. I mean, it's just
Shoal, nothing.
Shoal, yeah, pretty lackluster. I know folks got some shrimp in some places, but it was scattered. And it was not something we were used to at all. When I called you and said, hey, what do you think about coming over here and go Chinook fishing for a day? We'll go do some jigging in Area 13. Would love to show you that back in some of your old stomping grounds. Yeah. And then we'll spend a day shrimping. I thought,
well, I told the missus, I go, well, we're probably going to spend a day trying to catch a king, but I'm going to come home with a great big bag of shrimp. That's for sure.
And little did you know, complete 180 in that regard, in that you're going home with some Chinook, some dandy Chinook.
Absolutely.
And the shrimp, very few for us to capitalize on. So it is what it is. I mean, like you said, you make a plan, you go for it, you prep, and you just go. 4-hour window, man. It's not. You don't have a lot of options. You got to be pretty committed when you drop in, and that's kind of what we were shooting for. So hopefully you guys found some success. Hey Jay, nice to see you on here. Handful of guys. JB, George's boss, is even on here. Good evening. Yeah, nice to see you guys jumping on here. All right, we are going to jump out for a break. That'll do it for us here in the first half of the show. If you're tuning in on Root Sports, thank you for that. Don't go anywhere if you're tuning in live. Second half of the show coming up. We got some Summer on Steelhead talk with this man to my immediate right. We come back after this break right here, Fish on Northwest. Allied, the new leader in heavy gauge aluminum boats. Allied boats have standard reverse chine and lifting rakes to help you plane faster and run at lower RPMs. Allied boats have several models to choose from, ranging from a 19-foot Mustang all the way up to a 32-foot Liberator. So regardless of what type of heavy gauge aluminum boats you are looking for, Allied Boats will have it for you. Contact Allied Boats today to learn more about these incredible fishing machines.
Hey guys, I'm Big Mike. Come on down to the Edge Pro Shop and see me. We've got all the best brands under one roof. We've got Hawken, Pro Cure, Short Bass, Pro Troll, Yakima Bait, Get 'em Dry Jigs, Northwest Bait Scent, Daiwa Reels, North Fork Lures, North Wild, Brad's, Superfly, Rocky Mountain Tackle, and of course, the greatest rods ever built, Edge Rods.
All right, welcome back here to Fish on Northwest, and the General is here. Thankfully, it is we are on almost the eve. We're the eve of the eve of summer on steelhead season.
You know when you were a little kid?
You were
when you were a little kid.
Christmas?
In Christmas, it's
Oh,
Christmas. You look
yeah.
at the presents under the tree, but you can't touch them yet. You can't touch them yet.
Can't touch it.
Well, I'm looking at the presents. I'm looking at the water levels. I'm looking at my gear.
Yeah.
My gear's been ready to go steelhead fishing.
Did you check water levels last few days before you headed? I mean, yes.
Every hour?
So
Yeah, I think so.
We've had this discussion previously, years back on radio. You and I'd get all amped up for summer on steelhead. We're always looking at that level as we get into June. You know, what's it? And you know, right now, going into it, pretty darn good levels as far as the amount of water we got. Some of the creeks we can get on with our boats.
Well, we don't have the water we did last year. We had a super wet year last year.
It was
all the
so
way through
cold
June
in May
cold and
last
wet.
year and into June.
But boy, did it make some good conditions for
man.
fishing. It was
Yeah.
tremendous. What we're going to have this year is pretty much normal. Water will be lowish, so we have to adjust our gear accordingly.
All right. Yeah. Let's go in sequential order. So
Okay.
let's take the flows where they're at. I haven't even looked at the gauge for a couple, well, maybe about a week or so. I think one of my go-tos here in the backyard was at about 5-ish. It might be dropped a little below that now.
535, but who's counting?
Okay, 535. Like to hear that. For me, that's great.
Yeah, it is.
When I used to guide on that thing in the summer for about 5 years.
It was in the 200s.
I would fish it to where it got down to about 250. And that's the beauty of having a glass boat, because they like to slide over those low areas, and with wet rocks, you can move a boat like that, right?
Yeah.
So if we're starting anything over 500 for me,
bonus?
Huh? Yeah,
Bonus,
because
right?
that equates to a pretty decent slow rate of drop.
Yeah.
And if we get a couple bumps of rain as the season progresses, as we get into June, we get those rains and it bumps it back up. That just sustains that fishery. I mean, we're talking about something here opening May 27th that you can, if you know, there's a lot of other things that start happening, but we can be fishing those systems out here and others through August, and we all know some of the best summer on steelhead fishing is in September.
Yes, it is.
But let's talk about this early season as the water starts to drop. What is, based on conditions right now, if you're just going to take one rod with you?
Oh my.
Okay, let's dial it down. We're going to take one rod for the conditions right now, and we're going to have one approach. What are you going with?
Okay, what's going to cover the most area? I'm going to have a clear drift float, a clear bobber, fluorocarbon leader, and I'm going to put a small jig on that. I'm putting 1/8 ounce jig on that. I'm going to go with something black and red, and if that doesn't work, I'm putting on red and black.
Perfect.
But then my second choice would be purple. Purple is the new black.
It is the new black.
And when I used to fish Eastern Washington when it was open, when you had enough fish back then, I caught more fish on purple on summer runs than almost anything. But red, black, purple. By the way, the young man's jigs over here, Jinglin Jigs, he makes a killer purple nightmare. You should really check it out. I would start with that and then put a tiny piece of either a sand shrimp tail on that, little piece of sand shrimp tail on that jig, or a little tiny piece of prawn.
Yeah.
You don't need much, just enough, give a little stink.
The prawn is fantastic because it's a durable bait. It's available pretty much in every grocery store you come across. It is very inexpensive, right? And you can buy the small ones. And if you can't even find the prawn that you need to cut up, well, don't worry about it. Buy the little salad prawn. Phenomenal.
Yeah, toughen it up a bit and off you go.
Yeah,
That's
throw a
great.
little salt to it or what have you. You know, you can even pop it in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and that just gives it almost that rubbery texture.
Don't eat it.
But it doesn't. You can if you're in a bind, but it doesn't lose that natural shrimp scent, right?
Yes, right.
The one thing about putting it in the microwave, though, to toughen it up, it changes the color.
It does.
It makes it almost a little pink, almost orange, depending how long you heat it or cook it. But if you leave it natural,
you get UV in there. And when do we use UV, Dwayne?
all the time.
All right, there you
so
go.
that natural UV, and if you don't know what we're talking about, you take that white natural prawn, that tiger prawn, put that fleshy meat in the water. One thing I like about it too is it gets a little torn up.
Yeah.
It has this
little
natural
wiggle to it and everything.
oscillation to it, right?
And
It's
that
just got this
little bluish
floaty
tone,
little,
you know,
and you get that little purple haze to it, right?
Dun.
Very natural looking.
Love
and
it.
in clear water, steelhead go absolutely bonkers. You could literally fish that on just a jig head hook under a float.
Right.
And you would be amazed at how many steelhead you will catch.
Exactly.
They don't stop eating.
No, they don't.
They're steelhead.
Yeah.
Right?
And you know what I just love about steelhead? When they first come in like this time of year, they are super aggressive.
Oh, man.
And if anybody who reads my posts, I always use the same hashtag, the grab, right?
Yes.
And what do I always say? If you want the grab, what do we do?
I don't know. What do you do?
We throw something. Yeah, oh man, yeah.
Next on the list.
Next on the list.
If we're gonna leave the bobber and jig rod at home.
Yeah, we're gonna take a spoon rod with us because we can cover a whole bunch of water real fast. That flash gives off a lot of attraction in big area. You can work areas real fast. You can work big
flats,
wide
cover
flats.
water. Yep.
That the bobber and jig really doesn't work in. The bobber and jig is for slots, defined areas where you can see. When you get in these big wide flats, oh, by the way, these fish are moving and they will stay there.
Yeah.
And I love. I'm just thinking right now. I'm just.
So secondary to that spoon, you got and we have some pretty impressive spinner boxes.
Yes, we do.
With some great color combinations that really do well. For summer steelhead and clear water.
Well, here's the
Talk
deal.
about a couple of your color combinations that you will definitely go to.
Metal is metal, okay?
Right.
When I fish the clear water, which usually we get this time of year, I start with copper. Always copper first thing in the morning, and then copper and black, and then if it's really bright out, I'll go to all black, right? Just presence and movement. That's it.
Yes,
But
the
copper,
thump, right?
Copper and black together. In the last 2 or 3 years, nothing has worked better for me and the people I've taken out. I mean, that's a go-to.
Well, so copper and black on your spinners, I've seen. They're fantastic. And then matching up 2 lighter spoons back to back.
Right.
So one side is copper, one side is black. As it
Yes,
flashes, it's a double spoon. Looks fantastic.
It's all about contrast.
Some of these are also, if I might add, you're putting the Hypervis tape on them.
I am, especially the spinners.
Yes.
I have a copper blade, copper number 5 blade. Okay, throw a big blade, a lot of thump. But there's not a lot of flash, so you can use something bigger, easy to cast, easy to feel what's going on. You have a black body, it'll be like a half-ounce spinner, and on the inside of the blade, I'll cut about a dime-sized piece of black Hypervis and put it on there, so it gets, again, that contrast, the black, the copper, the black, the copper, off we go.
The thing I often tell people, if you're not accustomed to fishing spoons and understand what that thump is supposed to feel like and where along in the flow that thing is going to pick up and start doing its thing, start off throwing bigger bladed spinners.
Sure.
Because if you're pitching that spinner in the right trajectory out there and it lands and it picks up in that current and you get that thing spinning, you're gonna basically start feeling what the tip of the rod and that thump feels like, and you can fish same rod for both. I mean, we're talking summer run fishing, lower flows. You often are using a spinning rod, throwing spinners.
Oh yeah.
Right. And look, tossing spoons and fishing big water synonymous with bait casters and 10-foot rods. He had the Herzog rod back in the day for spoon fishing.
Right.
But I'm here to tell you, I've watched you with a 9.5-foot rod, spinning rod, tossing spoons in these smaller pieces of water and these current seams, and you're almost picking pockets with spoons.
You can do that too.
And out the front of the drift boat as we're moving.
Yep, sure.
We're not talking about standing
you
in one
bing,
place.
Bing, bing, move, stick and move, stick and move. If there's a fish there, with that flash, like with a spinner or a spoon, if there's one with a 9-iron, you can see them coming. And believe me, kids, the things that keep me awake at night this time of year, summer runs, is that visual grab. When that fish is coming from 20 feet away, mouth open, going 12 knots wide open, and you're sitting there waiting, and your hair's standing up, your eyes are bugging out. Like right now, I got chills going right now.
You might get a little excited
about it. Yeah.
All right, let's talk bait. What's your go-to bait choice for summer on steelhead?
Well, there's little coon shrimp, and then there's coon shrimp, and then there's raw prawn.
When you take those off,
and you take those off, you put on some salad shrimp,
or some pink coon shrimp, or some red coon shrimp.
Everybody's thinking, well, what about sand shrimp? Yes, they're wonderful. If you can get fresh ones, good on you. Please use them. They're going to fish better than anything.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
We talked about shrimp just being like little pieces of rubber.
Right.
And there are places in the river that are deep and fast that you can't get a bobber and jig down to. You can't get a spoon down to them or a spinner fast enough, but a chunk of lead, a piece of leader, and guess what? Maybe a little tiny red corky, number 12 corky or something on there.
A piece of prawn.
And a piece of prawn on there. That can get down in there. So I will have a bait rod with drift gear on it. I will have my bobber and jig with a little piece of prawn on it, and I'll have spinner water. I'll have a rod for the spinner, and I'll have a rod with a spoon on it.
Yep. And hard to beat the aggressive nature of summer on steelhead and the takedown of a bait diver and a coon shrimp.
Well, we saw that last year.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and you know what's great? Those 7111 edge rods that I'm using for kokanee fishing, those 6 to 15, it's an 8-foot rod essentially. And you guys have seen us talk about it before. We were literally using those kokanee rods because, again, rated 6 to 15.
Plenty strong.
Oh, but I mean, the bend on that rod with an 8-pound summer run fish on, you're like, am I going to land this thing? Because it might take you a little bit, but you know
I'm
what?
not going to sleep now.
Well worth the enjoyment. You know, show me a handful of other kokanee rods that you would have, you know, the ability to go ahead and handle those summer on steelhead.
I caught one on it last year, right off the bat.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Worked great.
And I'm going to use them again this year. They run those Brad's bait divers, the Brad's bait divers so well with that coon shrimp on there. That's my go-to setup for that. I also run those on our smaller plugs that we're going to use for summer run as well.
If I break into song here, you know why.
Yeah, I'll run those little Brad's 13s. We'll run those little. You're a hot shot guy for years.
I am. I
got a lot of them old school hot shots.
30s. You bet. I got piles.
30s are for summertime.
Yes, sir.
So good reasons to be excited. Good reasons to get out. Not to mention, and I don't even know if I want to mention this, a number of our rivers that have been closed for so long.
Right.
With no,
hasn't been a line in them for months.
No, they haven't seen anything but natural feed in these rivers.
So
right?
you're thinking that maybe the first few guys down the creek might have some good action? Is that
could,
what you're hinting at?
It could be almost epic. I unfortunately have to be on the road to go fetch a camper, so I don't get to go. I don't get to go fishing on Saturday. But man, next week we'll be frozen with indecision, as you like to say.
Love it.
The Chinook are biting jigs. The Steelhead are in the backyard, and the rivers are open. We got to make some decisions. Hopefully, you guys out there and gals are deciding where and what you're going to go do. And when you find success, make sure you post them up on our Facebook page and share that success. All right, going to jump out for a quick break. We come back, Bill. I'm going to jump into the bait lab. We're going to talk a little bit about jigging for Chinook salmon here in Puget Sound. Area 13, sure, but this is also applicable as we got this June 1 opener and later in the season as we move north. Jigging. Put it back on your hand. Get off the troll. Going to show you. Going to show you exactly why.
I'm going to take notes.
Yes, right here when we come back. Fish on Northwest.
All Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why all boats are backed with a lifetime warranty. All Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. All Defiance boats are foam flotation filled and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Before you buy any boat, stop by or call Defiance Boats today to ensure you are getting the very best glass boat your money can buy.
If you're looking for the best fishing rods in the world, you really do need to take a look at the Edge rods. I designed and built new machinery, and I think this new machinery has enabled us to build blanks like no other company could build without this equipment. There is no other rods in the world that are as good as these rods. You owe it to yourself to take a good look at them.
New days, new beginnings, new friends, new loves, new dreams, new goals, new scenery, new job. No matter what the next chapter holds, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate will be there to help you find the new that's right for your lifestyle at any stage of your life. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Expect better.
Hey, welcome back, Fish on Northwest. We are here in the Bait Lab. Bait Lab presentation is brought to you by Sportco and Outdoor Emporium. Everything you see here on the table, guaranteed you can find at either one of those venues. And if you can't get it in store, make sure you shop online. You're going to get everything you need. So, talking a little bit about jig fishing for Chinook salmon, Puget Sound. First of all, and Tommy and I talked about this a couple weeks ago, the change up on the boat this year has been with the Edge rod. This is an SL JR. It's a slow pitch jigging rod, 661. What does that mean? It's a 6'6" 1 power, one piece rod. It's a 20 to 40 pound rated rod. You can actually use this rod for lingcod, halibut. It's a slow pitch rod. It's designed to fish in the ocean. And the beauty of it is, with the design on the rod and the way that we're tossing these jigs and getting the movement on the jig, the rod does all the work. You draw that up and let it fall. The bend in the rod catapults that jig up, so it brings it a little higher in the water column, and you get a tremendous amount of fall Match it up with this Accurate Valiant 500N, which is a left-handed reel, because, excuse me, I like to do all my jigging right-handed. It's my dominant hand, and reel with the left. So very comfortable reel to use. It's a lever action drag. The beauty of that is once you pull that lever back and free spool that down, you got free spool, nice easy continuous fall, free fall. Set that drag, set your lever back to lock position. Now your drag is set. You hook a fish. It's instant. Right now, drag is set, no messing around. Great little setup to use. Fighting these Chinook on this 6.5-foot rod is so much fun. Not to mention, with this light setup like this, you are not getting arm fatigue while you're out there jigging for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours in a day. I'm not using an 8-foot rod with lots of bend and lots of give, having to go up and down all day with that. This compact little unit, it does a fantastic job, gets it done. I think if you guys experiment with this, you're going to be very happy with the results. So let's talk about the jigs that we've been using. First of all, jigs are great. Scent is fantastic, okay? So using the Potskie's Fire Gel on any and all of these jigs is a game changer. And I would recommend putting some scent on all your jigs and reapplying periodically just to make sure. And we're matching what bait is out there. We got herring in the sound, we got anchovy out there. The Fire Gel scent smells so much like natural scents that these fish are accustomed to. We're dipping the tail ends of these jigs in those scents, and I guarantee you it does make a difference. Now, mostly have been running the Grim Reefer jigs. These 3.5s and 3s work really well. You see on here we got the Hypervis tape, which adds a lot of tremendous color and flash. Some of these replicate with the blues and greens and the black tops, silver sides, white sides. White jigs, you know, have worked for years. Now we're up in the game a little bit with some glow tape on here. Again, the greens and blacks really give replication of some of the bait fish and the size of bait fish that is out there. We're talking candlefish, we're talking sand lances, and of course the smaller herring that's in Puget Sound right now. So the predominant colors, the Grim Reefer 3.5 white with the black and silver Hypervis tape. It's been working fantastic. The silver-sided or lead-sided with the green and blue. This has been my go-to. And you're going to look down on this and you see I put a slight bend in that. And all that does is it kind of interrupts the you know, cadence of fall. It kind of makes it dart around a little more unnatural or natural, so that it doesn't have just a straight drop. Okay. I've coupled that on a swivel with a snap ring. We got a barrel swivel on here, size 3/0, big river hook. I like that sickle hook. Not losing many fish. Once this hook penetrates and gets into that jaw on these fish, that anchor point on these hooks is a game changer. So use a good hook, use a Gamakatsu hook, and your hook up to land ratio is definitely going to go up. Some other things about these, we can rig these. You know, here is a simple rig. Again, we got the snap ring, and I got the barrel swivel directly to the Siwash hook. Okay, pretty simple way to rig that up. Something else I've been doing on some of these, I've been using some of my 200-pound mono, and I'm creating this short tab on here. And the thing I like about that hook is it sticks out in away from the body of the jig. And I have hooked a number of fish solely on this top hook. Now, this is very similar to what we do on some of our saltwater jigs for tuna. You'll see that double rig often. Started applying it. I went ahead and I wanted to experiment with this 200-pound mono. It pushes the hook out away from the body, and it doesn't tend to get wrapped up on my leader. It's not wrapping up on the jig, and when it falls, it's an extra hook. So we got hooks at both ends. Fish are getting hooked on that thing. A few of the fish I've landed, it's been solely on this top hook. Some of them, it's been on both hooks. So just something I've been playing with so far. I'm going to say that it's working pretty efficiently, and I'm going to continue to rig some of them with that short little stinger of that top hook, which does not seem in any way to hinder the performance of the jig. Another way we like to rig these is on a sliding rig. So 30-pound fluorocarbon, number 3 barrel swivel at the top. You'll see that this leader is about 1.5 foot, 22 inches overall after I tie it. So this is nothing more than a mooching rig setup about a half finger width apart on two 3/0 hooks, okay? I put a stopper bead in there to protect the top knot or the top of the line at the hook where that jig would encounter it. Now, to make this work, basically, you take your jig and on your two end tabs, you're bending them the same direction. Want to bend them up, run that line on through. So now we have a slider jig, okay? And basically that will go up and down that line. And it just is a really good way to fish that jig. It gives a lot of free mobility and something to think about as an alternative on how to rig the jig. The one thing to think about, if you break off these hooks or if something happens here, chances are you're going to lose that jig. Now there is an option to put a stopper bobber, rubber bobber stop on there is an option that might capture that. I've played around with that a little bit. It works, but I just like to leave that thing free floating, make sure it moves. It's a nice alternative and how to rig that. Some of the other jigs I've been trying, the Puget Pounder, 130 gram, which is the equivalent of a 4.5 ounce jig. So it's a pretty heavy jig, okay? So if you're moving in a lot of current and having a difficult time keeping your presentation vertical, because when it comes to jigging, it's all about vertical presentation, you might want to think about upgrading to a Puget Pounder, but I got to tell you, the 3.5s and the Grim Reefer has been getting it done based on the current, the tides, and the lack of wind, which I'll get into here in a second. The tides we've been fishing on, these outgoing tides, have been pretty big, 9, 10 foot tide swing, and we're still able to keep our jigs vertical. Something else I started playing with, Max Lure Sonic bait fish. I really like the blue and silver. The color of this in the water is tremendous. They only make these up into a 1 ounce, so I've coupled two of them together and put a single hook off the back. Definitely catching flounder on it and some other species of fish. Hooked a couple salmon and lost yesterday, so I was impressed with a 2 ounce jig setup. And this is side by side with two 1 ounce, and again, it's the color that drew me to the Max Lure Sonic bait fish. And it doesn't seem to hinder the performance of this by having two run parallel like this. I actually watched the rate of fall in the water and watch it actually slinging back and forth. It gave great color radius and flash. It looked really good going in the water, and sure enough, I was able to hook a couple salmon on it. So if you don't have a lot of current pushing, want to give those a try, they're going to work. Let's talk about boat control and jig presentation before we get out of here. So, first and foremost, if I'm going to go spend a day jigging on Puget Sound, the rods are always on the boat. The troll gear is always on the boat. It really comes down to current speed, and wind and boat control. I'm going to look at my windy app for wind forecast. If I have a day where it's 1.5, 1.5, gusts of 2, man, I'm jigging. If I can find the fish and stay on top of them, I'm jigging. I don't really care what the current's doing in association with the tide. We've had some small incoming tides of a 3-foot tide change and a big swing on the outgo. All that equates to, for me, when it comes to jigging, is speed of travel when you look at land and how much speed over water. As long as you're not fighting wind pushing you around and you can control your line angle with your motor speed, and it's really easy. And the importance of holding a rod and jigging vertically and running at my rear steering helm on the boat allows me to keep that line completely vertical. So if the current's pushing me a little bit, I'm getting a little bit of line angle, I'm going to bump that motor forward and I want to pull that line back. I'm always striving to keep it within a certain degree pendulum here, trying to keep it as vertical as I can. A lot of that can be accomplished with either forward or reverse in motor direction and boat travel. So if you got some wind pushing you, you might need to flip the boat around, let the wind work for you versus against you. Again, trying to maximize the opportunity so you don't get a lot of scope out in your line, you're not fishing your jigs way out at an angle. If that starts happening, you can't control your boat, time to go trolling, okay? So for me on jigging days, I'm looking at the tides, I want to make sure I hit the tides, and I want to make sure I don't have a lot of wind to fight. The other thing is, and Bill and I proved this once again yesterday, look, we got into some fish on that really tail end of that soft incoming, and then as it switched to high slack, pretty much it goes dormant for a good 45 minutes. Even the flounder quit biting for a bit. You just got to work your way through it. Once we got into that big outgo, And once we got current speed up to about a mile, mile and a half, almost 2, fish started moving. We kept marking fish, and eventually they're going to snap, and that's all it took. 1.5 to 2 miles per hour on our current speed, maintaining boat control, keeping that jig vertical, and as soon as they started biting, we had about a 45 to 60 minute window when those fish started hitting. So application is key. Set yourself up with a good rod and reel system that's going to work. Use your scent on your jigs. Keep them vertical. Pick up some Grim Reefers if you have not, because I'm telling you, those coupled with the Hypervis tape is going to get it done in all areas of Puget Sound. Got to give this stuff a try. It's a heck of a lot of fun. And puts that fishing rod back in your hand versus just sitting there watching the rod, waiting for it to go off in the downrigger. Okay, it's going to do it for us here in the bait lab. We're going to jump out for a quick break. We'll be back in studio with Bill Herzog to wrap up the show right after this.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima boats are manufactured with pride in Bremerton, Washington. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why Arima boats are backed with a lifetime warranty. Arima can offer every boat with Honda outboard packages so that you can take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Call or stop by Arima Boats today and let them help you get into your very next boat.
Yep, for sure. Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, geez, come on.
Nice fish. Nice fish.
Welcome back here in studio. As we wrap up the show, Bill, anything you want to add to our jigging experience yesterday?
Well, I was going to say, you said what we're using, 30-pound braid yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that. Yes, 30-pound braid. Yeah. Real small diameter. It's plenty strong, obviously.
And joining your mono or your fluorocarbon with a uniknot?
Yes. Yeah, I'm using the Alberto now. I switched to the Alberto 6-8 months ago.
Sure, there are several very good knots.
I really have a lot of confidence in that knot. Extremely low profile and compact. Doesn't hang up in the guides.
Not at all.
And, I mean, you barely hear it go through the guides. And super strong, right? 100%, 95% strength. Yeah. Putting that to a little top shot of about 6 feet. You can use mono or fluorocarbon. It's your choice. Doesn't matter. At least 25 or 30 pounds. A little more abrasion resistance, right?
And the fish are not line shy.
They are not. No. And then whether you are, and then I put a dual lock on there, good ball bearing, swivel, and whether you clip that right directly to the jig, doesn't seem to, they don't care.
No.
You're using an old school loop knot.
Big loop knot.
All right, to give it lots of flutter. Same way we used to tie on our bass, rapalas or rapolas, depending which ones you choose to fish.
Or how to pronounce.
Yes, but it gives that lure maximum action and free flow, right?
Yeah,
so that's why we use that knot. Right. But yeah, a couple different ways to rig it. But yeah, 30-pound braid on that reel gets it done all day long.
It worked very well.
Yeah, very fun. And a couple of those fish, man, I tell you what, hot.
Wow.
Holy cow.
What I noticed was the aggressiveness of the grab. You got a couple fish on the drop, but usually on the bottom part of the jig, when you drop the rod and you're about to pick it back up again, bang,
hammer time.
Off they go.
So one thing's for certain, you're going to catch a number of flounder in some of these areas out there. If you hit bottom and you leave it there for more than half a second, you probably got a flounder. And they're just going to lean onto the rod a little bit. I am always surprised that little tiny mouth those flounder have and how many of them were hooking literally in the mouth as they go. Yeah. I mean, it does open as they go, but they're going for the tail of that jig like they would on any type of bait fish. And you're hooking a ton of them things, right, in the old pie hole.
But I also noticed when the flounder are biting, so are the salmon. Yeah. Remember that.
When we got to that high slack and nothing's biting, nothing's biting. I told you, Once we started getting into that drift and we had a little more movement, I said, hey, the flounder are back on the snap. These salmon have got to go here at some point.
And you were right.
And sure enough, at some point, they started taking off. Tell you what, if you're on the drop and you feel that interruption and you have a momentary sense of slack line for a nanosecond.
Like old Bill Davis used to say, hit yourself in the butt with the rod tip.
Right.
Yeah.
You better hammer down on that lever action and start reeling because it's going to be on. And a couple of them fish with them shorter rods, man, they get out underneath that boat and you got to be over that gunnel. And you were laughing at me.
I could see your butt crack.
Yeah, it was a challenge to keep that out because you don't want that line rubbing on the chine on the boat, right? You got to keep it out and away and fight that fish. Let the fish do what it's going to do. But man, it ups the challenge and the experience. But let's talk about what we were watching on TV.
Oh my!
While we were fishing, so the Axiom Pro with Ray Marine, I have the 1,000 kilowatt high chirp, right? We put it on high chirp. We're fishing water 40, 60, 80, 100 feet, doesn't matter. It can go deep. But just the ability to mark fish and watch them going up and down, chasing jigs, chasing bait, finding good numbers of fish. Now, I'll ask you this. We're in this area, we're marking fish consistently like this. Now look, we are in 58, 60 foot of water. You can see our drift is at a half mile per hour, just a little bit before they really started getting on the snap.
And we got salmon darting around on the deck.
It's just like, okay, are we gonna go anywhere else? Like these fish aren't biting.
Don't leave fish to find fish, kids. Never.
No, they're there, we're marking them. They're constantly in these couple troughs that we have found and we just keep, going on that drag. And my screen now with all them tracks just looks like somebody took an Etch-a-Sketch and it's going all over the place, right? with no artistic talent whatsoever. But the fish are there.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else did we also see on the bottom?
We could see our jigs going up and down.
Well, before that, we got some bait, right? We're looking at the bait, and you can see the clouds of bait, and you can see that fish probably digging down into those sand lances. And look, here we're in 47 feet of water. Our drift is 0.4, but you can see the fish coming on the screen over there, also in the cone, right? So
he's coming down, mouth open. He's scooping.
He's scooping. That's why you get those Chinook with those rakes on the side of their gill plates because they're turning sideways and digging out. And now the high definition ability of our Ray Marine electronics is fantastic. When you can see a 3.5 ounce jig darting up and down on the screen,
there's the marks right there,
hitting those salmon in the head. You also had a couple fish literally chase your jig back to the boat when you were reeling it up. And we watched those fish on the screen. Actually, you see that streak going up on the screen. It's real time. You can see what's going on. You can see that your jig is in the wheelhouse. Matter of fact, the first fish you caught, you said, hey, look at that guy. He's just up off the bottom. A couple of jigs later, boom, fish on.
There he was. Same fish.
It's like watching live action TV, right? I cannot overemphasize the ability to improve your game with high-end electronics because it really ups your opportunity to find those fish and see what's going on. But we're going to continue to beat up on these areas here, 13 and 11.
It's only going to get better, D.
Only
going to get better.
Well, common sense would tell you that, yes, that would be the case because our migratory fish are going to start showing up now, right? June 1 was the opener. Why? Because those fish are here. Biologists know.
Common sense with anglers and,
not so common.
Not so common. But.
Hey, a couple things to point out here. The Columbia River is now extended once again. So we had this reopening for spring Chinook, right?
That's cool.
But we've had this tremendous, we had Bill Monroe Jr. on last week, and we talked about the complexity of going after these spring Chinook and having to now anchor fish, utilize plugs, fish in shallows, 6 to 12 foot drop-offs, tight into shore, fishing in the trees. Why? Tremendous flow, huge snow melt.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's all going on right now. So now as we extend on through into the season, they're giving us more opportunity. They've actually opened everything up. Whatever has been open for fishing currently with the extension, we are now open through June 4th.
Wow.
June 4th. So we're going to get
outstanding
kind of to a point here this next week where maybe, I don't know if we'll see a decrease in flows or not. There was a pretty good snowpack this year.
When I was down there, there was very limited visibility.
Yeah.
That was the problem. We had, 2 feet of biz, tops.
Yep. So still same, check your regs in the areas that you're fishing. One adult hatchery Chinook for retention. And then a few other things going on. We have hatchery Chinook and hatchery Steelhead open up on the Lewis. Yeah, how about that?
Golf
clap. Yeah, so May 25th to July 31st. Again, check your regulations. You got a couple areas there based on the Colvin Creek in the boundary marker. There's some areas that are bank fishing only, and other areas where you can retain up to 3 steelhead.
Well.
So they must be anticipating a pretty good steelhead return.
Let's hope.
If that's what we're talking about. So, all right, mister, any final words before we get on out of here?
Take advantage of the season. We get this weather like once in a blue moon, right? My God, get out there and enjoy whatever you like to do, and don't go golfing. Take a fishing rod. Enjoy the weather.
JB says the boss might need to make a call. Okay, yeah. You bet, Ron. Always appreciate bringing you guys the info. Glad you guys tune in. I had a great time, man. You over here for a couple days.
Yes.
We got out on the water. Something tells me you're going to be back here next week.
I will be back shortly, yes.
Yeah.
There's a river not far from here that needs summer runs extracted from it.
Yes, yeah. That's probably polluted with them. Need to have an impact on that population control, and also we got those Chinook that are out there just teasing.
Can you see the goosebumps
so,
on camera?
Always a pleasure, my friend. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming on over, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Great opportunity through the weekend here. Got some great weather lined up. Fishing is red hot in some areas. You need to get out there and take advantage of. And if you're struggling, please continue to tune in week and week out. In Tommy's absence, Bill will be here indoor. Tommy and I, each and every week, trying to bring you guys the info to give you the help to help you to get out there and find some success. So have a great weekend. Enjoy. Be safe. We'll see you back here next Thursday, 6 p.m. right here, Fish on Northwest.